Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another Card Making Friday featuring products from the Kat Scrappiness shop. And today I want to make a double slider surprise card with a shaker on the top. So here I'm going to be using the Christmas candy sprinkles from Kat Scrappiness. I'm also going to use the A2 acetate sheets from her shop as well, and also the Lawn Fawn double slider surprise dies. So I've cut out all the pieces that I need in order to put my slider together, and I'm just going to start adhering tape where is all the recommended spots. So if you're new to putting these together, I would suggest heading over to the Lawn Fawn's website and checking out their tutorial on how to put it together, because they do a much better job of explaining it than I do. And I actually made a couple mistakes putting it together. I had to rip it apart and do it again. I don't make you sit through that, but just know that tutorials are available over on the Lawn Fawn website and their YouTube channel, and I would suggest checking them out for the actual really good directions. But otherwise, just sit back and watch me fiddle around with this. I can definitely tell you some of the mistakes that I made, which was not cutting those notches out of both the front and the back of that panel. So there's mistake number one. Mistake number two was not making this little plastic baggie here tight enough. It was so loose that it kind of, you'll see when I pull the sliders apart that you can see the bag underneath. So I had to take everything apart and redo this part. So just, I can tell you all my mistakes, and then when you go watch the video, you'll get a better idea of how to do it correctly. So I'm just going to kind of flop this over, and right here is where, I don't know if you can really tell, but it's definitely not tight enough. So the trick is not to have it too tight, but then not to have it too loose either, to where it kind of flops outside of your sliders. So that's done, and the recommended width for that plastic is 2¼ inches. So you don't want it any bigger than that, or else it'll get in the way of that track right there. So now you're supposed to put some tape, double-sided sticky tape. I think she said less than 1/4 inch from either edge, front and back. And that's what holds your sliders in place. And I cut out 2 pieces from the red, and I also cut out 2 pieces of pattern paper, and this is the Lawn Fawn, last year's Lawn Fawn's Christmas pack I'm using for my paper. And I'm just trimming off right along that perforated edge where the stitched detail is on the pattern paper, so that way I can have a red border around my paper on each one of the panels. I also cut out some smaller ones out of blue, and this is supposed to like mimic carpet, like a rug. So I'm going to place that down at the bottom like there's a wall and a rug there. Do the same thing to the other side, and then we will attach our little slider pieces. So pull off that tape, and you're supposed to line this up on the far edge. So the sticky tape is on the left, and then you're supposed to line it up to that right-sided edge. Place that down. And if you're doing a scene like I am, you kind of want to make sure that your top and bottom of your panels are facing in the right direction. So like for me, I want to make sure that that carpet is facing the same direction as the carpet on the front, which it is. And there is the slider. And so it looks great right now, but it's not. I will have to go back and fix it. But now we're going to put together the pocket piece, and so we're going to add our score tape to the little flaps there. And they go on both, but I'm only going to do one at a time. And then to line this up, it's much easier. So I started to line it up like a goof right here, and this was really hard. And then I realized, why don't I just turn it over? So yeah, just turn it over, it lines up perfectly. And then just put your little edges together. And now we're going to put more tape on the other flap. And then we're going to put our little piece inside. So if I had done it the right way, there would have been notches on both the front and the back, so it wouldn't have mattered which end was up. But because I only put the notches on one side, I have to make sure that they are on the front of my card. I'm just going to line that up inside that little track, and then push it down so that it's nice and centered in there, and then remove the rest of my tape. The only thing you want to make sure with this is that you don't pinch any of your pieces inside of those little tracks right there, or else nothing will slide. But if you do it, if you line it up, I mean, it's made to go together perfectly as long as all of your dimensions that you cut. But see that little green? I know it went by really fast, but you could see the little bag. Now we're going to move on to making our present. So I use this from my stash. I'm working on getting some more much better double stitched square dies from Kat, but I haven't got my order yet. So I'm using some from my stash to make a little present, and I just took two different ones, put them together, and just made a frame. And now I'm attaching it to the Kat Scrappiness acetate. And then I'm going to use some foam adhesive, which is like the worst foam adhesive I've ever bought in my entire life. I wanted it because it was skinny, so it would go on this, but it is so sticky and it is so hard to work with. So next time I will buy the good stuff instead of being a cheapie. And I'm going to add the backing on. I put my little Christmas sprinkles inside, trimmed off the outside edges from the backing, and I'm going to put a little bow from my stash in there. I'm going to add the snow to the front of my scene. And now we're just going to place all of our little pieces on the front. So I've got my tree and my present and my little Christmas sentiment, which is just going to attach right there. And then we're going to open up our panels. And now you can see that green baggie is gone off of those little notches because I went and took the whole thing apart and started over. And now I'm going to just speed this up, and everything on the inside, if you're doing a scene card like this where you're using individual pieces, it all needs to be flat so that you can open it and close it without anything getting caught. So that's why I'm using glue for most of this, to make sure that nothing is sticking up anywhere. I'm just going to make my little cat in front of the fireplace and my puppy on the rug over on the other side. And I love Lawn Fawn. They make such awesome dies and stamps, and they're so easy to work with. And I don't know if you know this, if you're new to the Kat Scrappiness shop, she carries a lot of Lawn Fawns. I think she likes it just as much as I do. So I would suggest checking them out and seeing what she's got in stock, because she's got a really good stock of stuff. So here it is. I think it came out so cute, and here's the big test. Do you close and open with all of this stuff? Yes, you do. Perfect. Super excited. I think this card came out so cute. So I'm going to add my sparklies because I have to. And put them on my bow and on all the little baubles on the tree. Then I'm going to add some more of the Christmas candy sprinkles to the tree. I'm just going to use some glue. That's one of the nice things about the sprinkles. If you haven't gotten any from Kat's shop, you should really check them out because they're so tiny and so adorable, but they're like perfect little pieces. So like these little candy pieces, they're perfectly flat, easy to attach. And now I'm just going to add some snow with my white gel pen. Speed that up too. Just add my little background. Few little extra pieces, and then that is it. This will complete our card for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. You can see me trying to stick my big old fingers in there and pulling it out. There's my scene. I will see you again next Friday for another card making day, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you later. Bye bye.